May profits be upon you. Welcome to another weekly Forex forecast. We got a nice week ahead of us. Looking at the economic calendar, it looks like we have some good liquidity to work with, not market changing kind of news like CPI data and interest rates and or FOMC or NFP. It's just going to be a good week of good opportunity, in my opinion. Hopefully, we can get out of these knotted up, ranging markets. All right, now let's start with the Dixie. We're going to start from the monthly time frame, right? Right. We can see that the Dixie on the monthly time frame has been making highs and lows. All right, and we've seen that we've been in this consolidation here for a good while, and then we finally get a breakout to the upside. Or was it a breakout? All right, no, it was not. You can see that the range comes from here to here, and then we have this breakout, right? Or was it just a fake out? Looks like it was a fake out, because when price breaks the highs of a consolidation and then immediately goes back into that consolidation, that is a fake out, folks. And there's a good chance that we are on our way down to sweep these lows. These are liquidity lows, just like these were liquidity highs, which is why price went up there in the first place. And price pushed back in there, and look, it pushed right back into the consolidation. And look at that. Look at this candle. This is the March candle, and we still have 9 days before it closes, right? But look how much momentum it took in there. Wow. Boom, right? That leaves this, because it's so long, and this is an institutional candle. This is the kind of candle that takes billions to move, right? And it could lead to the formation of a monthly fair value gap, all right? Because we have a low here, and hopefully, if we get the next open here, we'll see a wick form, and then price shoot down to take this low. That would give us a fair value gap for which the next month, not the month of April, but the month of May would see a sting into that, and then it could be used for lower prices to reach these lows. Let's see. We'll see how it goes. That's a whole lot coming down the pipe, right? All right. If we go to the weekly, what do we see? All right. We see that the previous week, that low was taken. This is the previous week's low. I don't know why I don't have it marked here. Previous weekly low. We took the previous weekly low this past week. All right. The previous to last week's, right? All right. And you can see that we also took the high of last week, where we're stinging into a weekly fair value gap right here. All right. We could use this weekly fair value gap for lower prices. The market likes to use fair value gaps to sting into them to reach lower prices. This is where fair value is offered to sellers and then buyers. All right. And buyers. The market likes to be balanced. All right. We also take note that we took this low after a liquidity low is taken. You can usually see a pullback, right? And that's what we're seeing right now. All right. So with the sweep of the high and low of the previous candle into a fair value gap, my outlook is to wait to sell against the US dollar. That's what I want to do. All right. But I will wait to see if once it makes a shift, once there's a shift in the market from bearish to bullish. Bullish to bearish. Right now it's bullish. All right. It's short-term bullish. You see, 1, 2, 3 days. All right. The last 3 days of last week, we took those highs and the highs I just described. But what do we have ahead of us? All right. We took yesterday that previous daily high there as well. All right. But we have this low resistance liquidity here that you can see on the 4-hour, which is, a little bit more obvious. See, boom. All right. And we are going into this weekly fair value gap. I'm looking for price to take these highs, which would reach about right here. All right, which would reach right about there. This would be optimal for me. See price sting into the fair value gaps here that you'll find on the daily. All right, there's a daily fair value gap right here. All right, as soon as price takes out that high I just marked here, that's when I'll be looking for price to turn around. All right, that's where I'll be looking for price to turn bearish. All right, inside of the daily fair value gap, which is nested inside the weekly fair value gap. So I didn't mark the daily because I don't want to keep marking up my charts. All right, it's inside this weekly fair value gap. This is the daily fair value gap, and this is what I'm looking for. I'm hoping that we see something as easy as that. That's all. That's all there is to it. There's no bullish fair value gaps in this move up, so there's nothing to say there's a bullish structure for price to find support and move up higher for. So it's just about waiting until price stings into the bearish fair value gap, and then starts forming a structure that says, okay, we're heading back down. All right, we'll look for a market structure shift to the downside, and then we'll play it from there in the majors. If we go to the euro, we go to the monthly, you can see it's just the opposite, the mirror image of the US dollar index. All right, but what I'm going to illustrate for you here is that price took out this low here. Excuse that crazy looking line. Price took out this low. All right, and you thought, hey, we're going lower. We have a break of market market structure here for the downside. Yeah, we'll be looking for sells. All right, if price pulls back up into this area of fair value, and you think, okay, yeah, I'm looking for sells from here. This would make more sense. But what you're missing is price did not take out this low. All right, it protected that low, and as long as that low is protected, I'm looking. I can't look for shorts. This is a demand zone, and that's what price came into and pushed back into the consolidation here. I don't trust taking shorts into an area of demand zone, an area of demand or a demand zone. All right. So do I think price goes higher from here? This looks very bearish. I understand that. But look at it on the weekly. First of all, the first thing you want to notice, let me slow down, is that there was a bearish fair value gap here for the monthly that price disrespected. Even though this candle hasn't closed yet, price is already above it, trading above it, and we're just below it just now, the top of it. But you can see that there was no reaction to it, no bearish reaction to it. If we go to the weekly, you can see that there's this buy before the sell. All right, here, this is a demand supply zone. Price is reacting to that, which is nested within this area of fair value, a bearish area of fair value, where you have a buy to sell, a buy up before a sharp sell-off. All right, and that's where we're at right now. But going into that area, that zone, we have a bullish fair value gap on the weekly. Price is stinging into that bullish fair value gap, just like it's stinging into a bearish fair value gap on the US dollar index. We're doing the opposite here. I'm looking for price to find its footing here, find its support for higher prices. All right, that's the plan. All right, sorry, what is that? Get out of there. Thank you. All right, so if I get I'm struggling over here. So if we go to the daily, there's my line. All right, I'm looking for price to pop into that line, tap into the bullish daily fair value gap that is nested within the weekly fair value gap, so that it could find its support, and then give a signature that says we want to go higher for these highs. All right, now could price just start shooting down from here, sweep these lows, and then move up? Sure, it could. Anything could happen. I'm talking about probabilities here. There's a bullish fair value gap here, nested within a bullish weekly fair value gap here. This one is nested in the other. All right, this was the area of a breakout. Took that liquidity high, took this liquidity high into this area of supply, which price is now dancing in right now. I'm looking for price to use the old highs, use the old PD arrays, right? The premium arrays as speed bumps. So that means I'm looking for price to react to them and then go around them, then go through them. You understand? Then disrespect them. They're older. This is the most recent price action. So I am waiting for price to find support here and turn bullish. I am bullish overall. And if price continues down from here and starts giving me bearish fair value gaps along the way, that's when my bias changes. Okay, that's bearish structure. So I would be looking for price to sting up into a bearish fair value gap to continue lower. But until that happens, I'm looking for price to find its support for higher prices. Okay, if we look at the British pound, very much the same thing. I'm going to be looking, excuse me, I'm looking at the weekly, and what you can see is price has moved down on the weekly. You can see a pullback down, and then we pushed up. This is a very bullish indication for me. When there's a market structure shift from bearish to bullish, it happened here. Okay, and you see on the way up, it has created the same bullish fair value gap on the weekly, and price has already stung into it. It has not stung into it. I'm sorry. Unlike the euro. All right. So because the pound is a little stronger than the euro right now. So I'm still looking for price to tap into the weekly fair value gap, and then for price to continue higher. All right. But we have yet to do it. I have a line there. You'll see on the daily. That low is what I think price is aiming for, and I'm looking for price to continue down, to stab into that, give me a signature that market structure shift to the upside, and we can seek out the higher buy side liquidity. That's it. That's it. That inside of this is a bullish fair value gap, a daily bullish fair value gap that was already used. That's why I don't have it marked here. All right. It's the low that's going to be used from this point. We penetrate that low, we'll be good for, I'll be looking for longs from there. Yes, I will. Again, like I keep mentioning about the US dollar index, I am expecting a brief push to the upside on the US dollar index, and then weakness to continue, just like it's been doing. All right. And there's a lot of momentum in this drop. Yeah, we took this low, and you expect a little bit of a pullback, but we have fair value gaps to pull into it, and I'll keep mentioning that with the majors, because the U.S. dollar is the dominant currency. All right, so in the Aussie dollar, if you look at the weekly, we've seen weeks of bearish price action. Then we see this: a low, a lower high, a lower low, and then a higher high. This is could be considered a reversal pattern. All right, and once it broke this high, I'm looking for this low to be protected, and as long as as long as price trades above that low, I'm looking for longs in this market. All right, price pulls back, then pulls back up. All right, this is the way you want to see it, but it's choppy. It's choppy. You want to see price break uh, break market structure to the upside and then pull back into that bullish leg. In this case, it's a bullish leg, so that it could find its footing, and then you could take another high probability trade to continue up. All right, and it did pull back, and it did find its footing and push up. But then we had this candle last week. Look how it closed. It closed above the high of the previous 2 weeks, and it took the low of last week. It took the low and the high. It took the high first of last week, and then took the low. Are we going to see more pullback? Are we going to see more downside action? Let's take a look. If we go to the daily, you can see this has been a choppy journey here, and you can see that we failed to make a new high here. All right, this was a swing fail, and then we take out the low of this consolidation. Were we faked above this? Some people might say so, but I'm looking at the fact that we have a bearish fair value gap here on the daily that price could use to take price lower. Are we going for this low? I'm not sure. I'm not interested in taking lows in this consolidation. I'll wait until price breaks this consolidation, honestly. And if I am expecting a weaker US dollar, I don't want to, which would bring prices down, which would allow prices to go up. I don't want to take shorts in this market with the US dollar as the quote part of this pair. All right. This is the Aussie dollar being the base currency. So I'm going to watch this very carefully. We could start to see price move up from here because we did sweep this low. All right. So I'm definitely going to watch that to see if we disrespect this fair value gap. All right. I'm not bearish in this market, even though this is some bearish price action here, but this is in a consolidation. So we're in the middle of it. I don't want to be looking at order blocks and fair value gaps while it's in consolidation, because that could throw you way off, man. Because in consolidations, the market doesn't respect those your order blocks and your fair value gaps and your whatevers. All right, it's doing this, and it's building liquidity, and then it sweeps the highs and sweeps the lows. So you play the highs and lows. That's what you do. All right, and but I am overall bullish in this market, so I'm looking for a market structure shift to the upside before I start taking buys in it. All right, if we go to the New Zealand dollar, it's very similar price action. This is the last one. This is the last market I'm going to do in this video. In the next video, I'll go over the CAD, the Canadian dollar, the Swiss franc, and the Japanese yen. Make sure you stay tuned for it, and don't forget to like this. All right. So what I'm looking at here is the same price action. We are price kind of looks a little bit better here because we tapped into this area of supply here, unlike in the Aussie dollar, and we are reacting to it. But we're coming into an area where there's a demand zone. Price could very well start back up from here, because we did have a bullish break of market structure here. We had a push down and then a push up, creating this area of fair value. We pull back into it, finding the demand here, and I'm looking for price to push up from there. And will I expect the Aussie dollar to follow? Yeah, kind of, but I'm not. It already took this low, so I'm looking for price to see what it does from this point. Are we heading towards this low? Are we going to take a deeper push, or are we going to start pushing from here? That will be my question. Now, again, I'm going to be going over the CAD, the Swiss, the Japanese yen in the next video. I hope you'll follow me to it, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you again.